to near historic levels. Hello. But now this summer's drought is taking its toll on the river. The levels are so low along the southern half of the Mississippi that businesses are forced to lighten the loads on their barges, causing a major threat to commerce. Millions of goods are shipped along that river every year. For more, we turn to David Lane. He's the Senior VP of Marketing with the Canal Barge Company. David, thank you so much for joining us. And I got to ask you, for all the companies that deal with the Mississippi River, can you remember a bigger change of fortune in just 1 year's time?
No, I have not. I was around for the 1988 drought as a young traffic controller, but it's a turn of events. And over a year, you can see the gauge basically at Vicksburg, Mississippi, which hit record levels last year. The river there is literally over 50 feet lower than it was just over a year ago today.
Wow, 50 feet is a tremendous change. So what are you changing, your company, day-to-day business? What's different compared to a normal year?
Well, we instated, along with the the U.S. Coast Guard, draft restrictions. So any barge that transits north of Baton Rouge, whether it goes to the Illinois River, up to the Chicago market, or the Pittsburgh market up the Ohio Valley, we have a 9-foot draft restriction. What that means is every barge, depending on the size of the barge and what river you transit, you're going to be lowering your draft, your tonnage, or your cargo by anywhere from 100 to 700 tons, which is drastic on the revenue for the operator. It's costly for the operator and the shipper, and then eventually, as the old cliche, the consumer.
So essentially what you're talking about is you can only carry a certain amount of product, and right now it's much less than you would normally be carrying up and down the river.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the inverse of the flood last year, but it's pretty similar. You have smaller tow sizes. Your navigation gets constrained. You have shallows. You have dredging operations going on. You have to wait for southbound traffic. You have a narrower funnel to go through. The captains and pilots have a tough time navigating through the sandbars because once you get north of Baton Rouge, the Mississippi River system really is a bunch of sandbars when it's low. And what America doesn't see is they see the trains on the rails and they see the trucks on the highways, but they don't see what goes on behind the levees in the river.
Well, David Lane, it's really interesting stuff. Thank you for joining us. David's going to be coming back next hour to talk a little bit more about the trickle-down effect and where it might actually affect all of us outside of the barge industry, coming up about 1 hour from now. Maria?